What's going on, guys? This is Jay. Today is Monday, June 22nd of 2020. It's time to do some field work this morning. So we're going to jump straight in and start weeding some of the corn. There's Felicia and Sky and Marshall and myself in this shot of the video. And what we're doing right now, we're just going through the corn patch and pulling out any of the weeds that is close to the corn. A little bit of field preparation goes a long way. We've already come through and tilled this corn once this year, and now we're doing a little bit of weed maintenance, make sure that the weeds don't outgrow the corn, that way there's no competition for light. And we spent quite a bit of time in here pulling weeds this year already. Sky and Marshall and Sky's grandson Trey were in here for 3 or 4 hours yesterday. We spent 5 or 6 hours in here today pulling weeds around this corn and working this ground, getting it prepared to do some tillage again in the future. You can see those clouds rolling over. We're looking for some projected rain in the days to follow, so it's always good when it rains, waters the ground. Plants love it, they shoot up, so it's kind of important for us to get in here and knock these weeds down before they get too tall to manage. And once the corn outgrows what the weeds can go, it's not really that worrisome for the weeds to grow. That way they're not being overshadowed by different types of things that want to compete with them. Once they get taller than those things, then we don't have to worry about those weeds or plants that are in here. And we'll probably not be able to work it much longer after this because corn's getting pretty tall. We don't want to take the chance of damaging the corn, so it's close to the last few times that we'll be in this patch at all, besides harvest and maybe watering and things like that. But it's pretty amazing. I remember the first time I experienced a huge cornfield, and it was probably in 2015 or 2014. I remember seeing one of Sky's fields in Kimball, West Virginia of McDowell County. There were bees buzzing through the cornfield when the tassels were coming on, and they were pollinating, and the vibrations were so loud I could feel it vibrating my chest from walking in the field, and it was just an amazing sight to see. And the first time that we planted this field with corn was 2015, and I remember seeing morning glories grow up, wild morning glories grow up the corn stalks, and they were probably here from the housing that was here years ago before this was farmland. This all used to be coal company houses and, you know, company town land and things like that. And there were all kinds of native flowers that grow here, but there were also all kinds of cultivated flowers that were brought here by the people that lived here. So some of the morning glories may have come from that. There are still morning glories in here. We pull them out sometimes, and I'm sure later on in the year some of them will grow up in here and up the corn, and I'm kind of excited to see that because it's a pretty amazing sight to see them climbing up the corn, doing this whole trellis type thing. And it brings pollinators in. There'll be plenty of plants for the bees and butterflies to pollinate. Different types of pollinators are very important to the system. There's Felicia there working away, getting those weeds out, pulling that water weed. That stuff is so invasive, but we've done pretty good this year, I feel. staying on top of it. It's better than the first year. The first year that we came into this field, the weeds were so high you couldn't see anything. I remember the tractor would just run over the things, and it's about time to switch up tasks.
Hello world, Felicia here, and obviously we are at another location, a new one that you all haven't seen. This is my mom's house, or her yard, I should say. We're putting in a small garden for her and my little sister. My mom has been a vegetarian my whole life, and she has been vegan for a few years now. And my little sister is trying to be vegetarian. So vegetables are quite a big deal for all of us. And there's nothing better than fresh from the garden. Jonathan stole her 2 tires, so we're in the back there replacing where he took some tires. But that is okay. We're using the same method that we use in the field and at home, and we'll see how it works in a third location. Cardboard, so minimal weeding, retains moisture, feeds the worms.
Cardboard in the garden works wonders, makes magic happen. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put cardboard in. Right now what I'm doing, I'm planting tomatoes along the fence line, and we're going to just trellis them on the fence, and inside this tire I'm going to plant cucumbers. So we put a cucumber inside the tire, tomatoes along the fence, and we're going to continue planting. There's another tire on the side, and now Felicia's going back in behind me and doing a little bit of watering to water these plant babies in. We gave them their food, sent them out their little lunch packs, and they're ready to go. So there's only a few more things that we have to do. We're going to add another tire. I'm going to put some acorn squash down on this far end. We want to make sure we have that ready to go. And right now I'm planting beans. These are going to be green beans. So that's going to be exciting. They should be up in a week or so, just depending on the rain. It needs a good rain to water these beans in. So we're going to go back and check a little bit in the future, check and see how this stuff is doing. And along the back side I'm going to plant some corn. Right there where I'm digging a spot to plant onions, and we're going to put an acorn squash in that tire. I think I already said that, but that's what we got growing on here. We're going to keep that cardboard down to keep the weeds from coming up, feed these worms, and to retain the moisture, and to shade the soil to protect it. So many benefits to cardboard. It's biodegradable, goes back into the environment, and it's going to help keep the vegetables clean. So we're putting in onions now. It's a mixture of red, white, and yellow onions. We're just tossing them into the little pit that we dug, and the onions are planted. Now I'm going to go back and tie some trellis line for the tomatoes to climb, and as they grow we will twist the tomatoes around the line. That way they have a guide on the fence to go. And the last step is we're going to go in and cut the grass out. We're going to cut all the grass around the entire yard. And Felicia had to move the puppy dog because she was a little bit scared of the noise that the weed eater was making. She's moving the camera around while I'm cutting grass around the house.
Yeah, it's a little hard to keep up with him. He is weed eating very fast.
It's not that fast in real life, but I'm going pretty fast as far as weed eating goes. So we moved through the entire garden.
Look at that puppy roll around. She loves grass. She's so cute.
And what's the puppy's name?
Her name is Alona.
Alona.
It's a mixture of my middle name and Alana's first name, my little sister. And that's my mama. There went my mama.
Zooming through that grass. I love these time-lapse videos because it shows the transformation of the entire project over the course of a couple minutes. And I think we spent about 3 hours there putting in the garden and cutting grass, which it was all non-stop. We didn't slow down to do any of it. We just pushed right through it, got it all done. Went around the entire house and the lot next door and the park area where the garage or car port is. Cutting all the grass out, so come out pretty good. It was a good day. We got a lot of stuff done. We did a lot in the field earlier. We did about 5 to 6 hours of weeding through the corn before we got to this point of putting the garden in. And now we're taking all the grass out, so we have a lot more coming up for the rest of the day. Just watching that grass disappear puts a smile on my face.
Yep, now they can have a picnic under that tree.
That sounds nice, a picnic, garden veggies.
Yes, salad picnic.
Now the land that I'm cutting now, we come in a couple years ago and cleared the trees off of it. It was all grown up with trees, and there's a pile of brush here that we're gonna have to burn out. It's piled up there, so maybe in the fall or something we can burn that and maybe make that a garden area. So all of this is good ground. All the area that I'm cutting now was completely filled with trees and berry bush. There was a huge blackberry bush here. We trimmed most of it out. It's trimmed all the way back almost to the fence line, so they might even have an open lawn after we get finished with cleaning up that piece of land. It's time to switch tasks again because we finished up at Felicia's mom's house and we're back in the field with Sky. It's now evening time and we're planting collards. I think we put in a little over 150 collard plants. I can't quite remember how many it was, but I know that we put in a lot. I'm pretty sure it was about 150 plants, might have been 200 plants, but we just hammered them in there. We would go down the line and Sky would flatten the ground out and dig the holes, and I would stick the plants in and we moved down the line. Felicia would move the camera around and throw dirt on me.
No, I think you got that backwards.
No.
Yep.
And the day's coming to an end. It was a good day. We got a lot done. The sun's going down. We have some extra collard plants from this batch. We're going to take down to the fields on the lower end of the farm and put those in at a later date. But today is winding down. And look at that beautiful sunset You can see it right as we come around the corner of the Elkhorn Inn Theater there in Landgraf, West Virginia, those beautiful mountains of McDowell County. And we're just going to check on some plants, drop these plants off, and that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining in, watching the video to the end. I hope it was informational, inspirational. Make sure to get out there and grow something. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. And until next time, can you dig it?